Hello everyone, Hiroja Shipe here, and I'm not exactly sure what it is that I personally watched. A horror show, a suspense thriller, a spy versus spy. It was very, very scary and very real. It seems like finally some of the hints of the consequences that we saw in season 2 are really in the forefront here in season 3. Unfortunately, it looks like our girl Darlene flipped and is now a snitch. That's, I don't know. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's bait. Doesn't look like it. I think she is working with the FBI. Seems that Mr. Robot's back in charge again, but without Elliot's knowledge. Angela's moving up my personal villain chart. She really is. I know she wants to get back at Evil Corp for what they had done to her mother, but her manipulation of Elliot, and I think I've always known, like Elliot and like Angela and Darlene both have known like the personality split personality and could tell the difference, but I think more so than Darlene, Angela really can tell the difference. She knows the difference between the two. And she's using that to her advantage to get her revenge. And I honestly didn't think they were going to do the whole time travel thing. I'm not sure what that's about. They did reveal what's in the Washington Township plant. There goes my theory about the Washington Township plant being a MacGuffin. Maybe it still is. It doesn't look like it. It kind of looks like a hydrogen collider in there. I'm not positive. I probably have to re-examine the episode and look at the engineering specs, if you will, or the pictures, and figure out what it could potentially be or possibly be. I'm sure Reddit is aflames right now. I haven't gone on there. I actually pretty much avoided, for the most part, except for live tweeting the show, which is at fsocietyirc. You can find my Twitter feed there. Wow. I really don't know where they're going this season. I have no clue. I had a little bit of a sense season 2, maybe kind of like it seemed like it was like almost like an escape run, somewhat, sort of. It was like a mystery because he woke up 3 days later and they're wondering if they're going to get away with it, what the next phase was, and then people were dying left and right. So it came in like almost like an escape and betrayals. This with another time jump with 6 days, and the fact that the distinctive split personalities are at war with one another. Elliot really trying to undo what he has done. I've stated this in the podcast. I don't believe the F Society is the heroes in all of this. We know Dark Army's not it's a villain. We know E Corp is a villain. The FBI, it's the government. There are no heroes here. I think this is very apparent. Even though Elliot wants to undo what he's done, there's no heroes in this. He's not even an anti-hero. He's just in the gray, if you will. Which fits within hackers and stuff like that. What else are my thoughts, my initial reactions? I think his name is Matt Quayle, the music director. He also did Feud, and he did last season. He does all the music for Mr.Robot. That panic attack scene, that freak out that Darlene had and was having at that hacker space, and Elliot knew that she was having one, and she went into the restroom and had the kind of the panic attack. I felt that music made me feel it. The music in general was very tense, very horror-esque. Like I honestly expected at any moment like there was going to be a slasher guy coming out and just like in an F Society mask come out and start knifing people. I really did. I did like to see the decay that was going on, the fighting in the street, people being really just living out the street, trash everywhere, businesses shuttered down. Though it is New York, and for them to not to have the power for 6 days and the city not being on fire, that's a little disturbing. They kind of need to explain that. Did the National Guard come in? I saw people all about, but I didn't see a huge significant police presence, even though they had that 911 call where, you know, emergency services are flooded. I mean, is the National Guard in the city? Because I know in 77, there was a blackout. It's a very famous blackout. I think Spike Jonze did a movie about it. It was the one about the serial killer, the shooter that talked to the dog. I forgot what it's about, the name of the film. It has Adrian Brody in it. But there was a blackout there. That blackout was very famous in hip-hop because there was a lot of rioting, 2 days of rioting in the city, and a lot of early hip-hop artists got a lot of their equipment, if you will, during that time. And that's kind of caused a burgeoning explosion of hip-hop artists and musicians at the time. A lot of musicians in the New York space, you know, acquired their equipment during the riots. Also interesting, it happened like almost 20 years later in LA in the 1992 riots. Same thing happened for the hip-hop, raps, and even rock scene to some extent, where people acquired, you know, their equipment, if you will. But for the city not to be in flames, for people not rioting in the streets, we saw a little bit of violence, but not to hear gunshot fires or anything like that you have when the power goes out and it's dark in the city and people are nervous, they're reckless. I'm surprised we didn't see people walking the street. Maybe when I watch it again without having their own, you know, rifles on there. I know it's New York, but you'd be amazed when shit hits the fan. All of a sudden, somebody you thought you knew all of a sudden has, you know, a gun, an AK-47 and bulletproof vests. It's weird like that. The real true personalities of somebody comes out under very stressful situations, particularly economic situations, when money is involved. Put $1 million on the table and you find out who your friends really are. Other than that, I really enjoy it. It's set in a really interesting tone. I'm going to have to re-examine Elliot's speech. I know there's a speech in every Mr.Robot. There was one in the first season, and there was one in the second by the personality of Mr.Robot. This season finale of the first season. Season 2, did they start out? No, season 2, the first episode didn't have a speech, but they did eventually have the speech, the God speech, in season 2. And now we have Elliot taking ownership of what he has done and blaming himself for, you know, causing the hack, the 5/9 hack. Stage 2 to blow up the backups, and the decay and the power grab and the strengthening of the invisible hand. As he put it, the invisible hand became a fist and punched everyone in the dick. So it'd be interesting to see. I know it was a bit of a dreamscape, what he was seeing in New York, all the stuff that was going on. But it's already hinted in the real world. Much of that is a lot of truth to it, even if it's a little heightened or exaggerated, if you will. But overall, I really enjoyed the show. I can't wait for next episode. I will be doing a reaction episode, not too long. I should have the podcast episode up probably Friday. I need to see this episode once more because it is a season premiere. I'm sure I pretty much missed a lot of stuff. I think I might avoid some of the social stuff, like the Reddit stuff, until after I do my own personal review. A little disappointed that the Washington Township plan is not a MacGuffin. I still think there's a MacGuffin in this show. Maybe it's not it, but there might be. I might have to re-examine stuff and re-look at stuff, but there's definitely, because Sam Esmail makes so many cinematic. He's a cinephile. He loves movies. He loves the nature and the telling of story art telling of movies. He is clear in his work. It's clear in his visuals, the things he does, the choices he makes, the lines that people have, the caricatures. You can see the pieces of influences of different characters and the subverting the tropes and things of that nature. He loves that stuff, and I still think that there's some kind of MacGuffin. You don't hint at Pulp Fiction if there's not a MacGuffin in your series somewhere, and it's somewhere. It could still be the Washington Township. Maybe just it's a head fake there. Not sure, but there's one there. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, okay? I will see you out there, guys, and thank you for listening.